Welcome to another episode of CBFU from the shop, where we're going to review this week's books. I'm Isaac.
I'm Jarryd.
And this week we've got a number of really good books. I'm going to start off with Saga, which is by Brian Vaughan and Fiona Staples. It's a really good opening chapter for this arc. For any new readers who want to jump on right now, it's perfect. It has a heartbreaking ending. I'm not going to spoil it for anyone, but if you have feelings in the heart, it is not going to go well for you reading this book.
Rough. And I especially liked it because it picked up from last issue's cliffhanger, and it kind of shows how they've progressed from the events of the last book, and how Marco and the family are, kind of acclimating to, living life on the run.
They're undercover now. Yeah. The little girl's now no longer a baby. She's grown up now.
Yeah, we get to see her.
But it's tough.
It was a good read. It was a good read.
And Fiona Staples' art's just beautiful. Her design work, the alien landscapes and everything.
Rush
really good.
Colors.
Yeah.
And it still retains that good comedy. I really enjoyed that book. I'm going to go ahead and go into Amazing Spider-Man issue number 2. Peter Parker is back, and he is picking up the pieces from where Otto left his life in shambles, basically. There was a big cliffhanger last issue with him having to deal with the relationship with Anna Maria, and where they're going to go from there. A lot of cool stuff to pick up there.
That was actually my favorite scene in the book, is the stuff with him and Anna Maria.
Yeah, it's really it's lighthearted, but we do get some superhero action with Spider-Man having to deal with Electro and his powers being out of control.
And Electro's the villain in the movie too.
It's coincidental that they got Electro into the Amazing Spider-Man book right around the time of Amazing Spider-Man 2. But it was a good read. It read quick, but I gotta say I enjoyed it. So Amazing Spider-Man issue number 2. Another
book that comes out this week, Original Sin number 2. It's a second part of Marvel's summer event, Original Sin, and it's really good. It's continues the mystery of who kills the Watcher, with 2 separate groups trying to figure out who's done it.
A little bit more than 2 separate groups. We had Emma Frost pairing with Black Panther. The Punisher, he pairs up with Doctor Strange. So it's like a lot of oddball pairings that you would never see. I was actually a little bit bothered by the fact that they don't really mention the animosity between characters like Magic and the Avengers.
That is weird.
Emma Frost and Black Panther.
It's sort of something you just sort of have to gloss over to it.
Yeah, and
I don't think it affects the enjoyment of the book.
No, not at all. But if you're looking for deeper continuity and the way that they mesh those relationships. Also, just kind of like how the chase for their for the culprit of the Watcher murder, how it kind of just picks up out of nowhere. Because last book ended with the mindless one, the big explosion, and in this one it kind of just throws us into they're just chasing after another culprit. But still, you can tell that they're building towards something. And
and fans of Grant Morrison's Marvel Boys miniseries, if you ever read that back years ago, some characters from that appear in this.
Yeah, I had to ask Isaac because I was completely lost. So I'm definitely gonna have to go home and do some homework on that for some of the characters that they bring up in this. But like Marvel, they always pull out of the pantheon of characters. So Original Sin number 2, that was a good read.
Strong second issue.
Yeah, definitely want to pick that one up. And to keep the trend going for event books, it is here, everybody. The moment we have been waiting for, the final issue of Forever Evil. I gotta say, I wanted to hate this book just because of how long it took to come out, and I'm not a big fan of Fitch's art, but I ended up enjoying this a lot more than I thought I would. There were a lot of good moments, a lot of solid moments. It would have been a great book had it come out on time.
Or if it was a different artist.
You put Gary Frank or somebody else on this book, and it would have definitely been one of DC's stronger event comics. But we get a lot of our questions answered, which I didn't expect them to do. I thought they were going to leave us with a lot of cliffhangers and just leading into other events. It does some setup, but for the most part, it kind of wraps everything in a neat bow. It's just that delay really hurt this event. It really did. Standout moments were standout characters actually. Lex Luthor steals the show, and had they sold this,
it's his book.
Yeah, had they sold this as a Lex Luthor book from the very beginning, it would have been a stronger event. But they just tried to throw in this character and that character, and Sinestro feels out of place, and just seeing all those powerhouse villains, following Lex Luthor's orders seemed a little bit weird to me. Yeah. But he does shine in this book, and it really would have sold a lot better had they just said Forever Evil was Lex Luthor basically taking the role of Superman. But I enjoyed it. I know a lot of people might have been bothered by the wait and the delay, but you know, it is what it is, and we finally got the issue. It didn't disappoint as far as like, you know, of being a good read, but for an event comic book to have this much of a delay, and you know, some of the art is just really sloppy. There's just certain pages in here where you can tell that they're just like, fill up that page, throw some dialogue in, and then just send it straight to print.
So, some artists are like worth waiting for. David Finch
is not one of those. You know, I just can't get over the slanty faces. I can't. Yeah. But you know, again, like same thing with Original Sin. If you picked up the last 6 issues, there's no reason not to pick this one up. We do get some closure for Dick Grayson, and we see where we're going to build when that title launching, the new Grayson book that's going to be launching. Some key characters are introduced in this story. So again, it builds towards the greater DCU, the New 52. It's going somewhere. So yeah, Forever Evil #7. Even with the delays, I say you got to pick it up just to see where the story ends. You know. Also, we get I think it's Justice League issue #30. That ties into this as well.
That's the aftermath.
The aftermath to close up the Forever Evil story arc. So yeah, you definitely might want to go give those books a shot.
East of West, the start of a new arc started this week.
Yeah, that was a good one.
And a lot of stuff goes down.
A lot of stuff. Like we did an episode of East of West on
recently,
very recently, and we talked, you know, gave it a lot of praise. But this is, again, this slows down the action for the book, and it's just a lot of talking heads and there's a lot of intrigue. But through these talking heads, we build up that we're gonna get this big.
Yeah, I forget who said it was either you or Tony. So it was like the Game of Thrones.
The Game of Thrones, yeah.
And this episode more than any other is like the Game of
It's
Thrones.
Definitely is.
It's the politics and the intrigue and who's on whose side, and it's really good.
And where it leaves the book at the end, it ramps it up, and we know that it's big. You know, this conflict is gonna happen. They've been, you know, slowly trending towards it, and here we are. We're finally here. Okay, guys, that's it from us from this week's books, May 21st. This is CBFU from the shop. We'll be seeing you next week, and enjoy your comics. Buy comics.
Have a good comic day.
Bye, guys.
That's us.
Somebody say see you next week or something.
We'll see you next week at CBFU at the shop.
From the shop. Try again.
And we'll see you next week here at CBFU for the shop.
From the shop.
From the shop.
One more time.
All right, so that was this week's books for May 20.
One more time.
One more time.